What is going on with all of my living, breathing, walking, amazing people of the planet and or the non? I am D Venom. You are all tuned into Raising Vibrations Podcast. I hope all of my people of the planet, especially my people of addiction, relapse, and recovery, are staying on that straight and narrow and doing everything possible to elude psychic vampires, negative energies, including, say it with me, you guys, podbean trolls and scallywags from one's lives. We all should know by now that those particular elements only take away from our energies and our vibrations. If we could elude them at all costs, we have done our own selves some form of justice and a huge favor. And with that being said, let's move on to tonight's episode. All right, you guys, as mentioned, I am the Venom. Of course, I didn't mention the feathered friends, which means they're at, where else? At the house. I'm at my usual spot across the street. No need to further explain. Beautiful night in Arizona, clear skies, no coats, no jackets, none of that shit. It's nice, bitch. I mean, that's all I can say. It's just a nice ass night and I am taking advantage of it. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about withdrawal here momentarily. I did not know that I was going through the symptoms of withdrawal to the point where I could have been hospitalized. And once again, we'll get into that here momentarily. Anyway, I released a video on my YouTube platform. I believe it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And in that content, I pretty much was talking about the same shit that I talked to you guys about, what happened at my meetings and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I spoke about what happened at Wednesday night's meeting, Wednesday or Monday night's meeting, but I'm more than likely sure it was Wednesday night's meeting because I remember in the video I had 3 chips in my hand and I got the 3rd chip yesterday night. Anyway, I also talked about something else in that video, my time spent at Recovia and something else, but either way it goes, I foreshadowed a couple of positive things that have happened to me thus far since I've been attending the meetings and stuff. And I noticed that video had already gotten 20 something plays. And, I'm happy about that. Anytime that I put out heartfelt content, reaching out to people, it don't get monetized like that. Now, if I do something outside the box, like a ASMR video or whatever, or a short, those will get, some form of decent play. My shorts do, but, regular videos, they, especially, reaching out to people videos don't get monetized like that. So I'm surprised that the videos that I put out lately are, getting some type of play. The video before this one that I put out ended up getting 40 something views thus far. And, that's major for me considering I've been at this YouTube shit for a while. Anyway, I received a new follower. I'm up to 99. Now I know that's a PKU number compared to 344 time of the recording. Compared to a lot of people that have, over, 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 followers, whatever the case may be. I don't care. 99 is good for me. And, pretty soon I will reach 100 and I will be even more satisfied, with that number. But, I don't care. I've been at 98 for a while and, to get, one more follower, I'm blessed. I'm happy. And, anyway, I noticed that I received 2 comments on that video that I just put out. And, I usually brace myself for the comments. Sometimes they're neutral, sometimes they're upfront and negative, and sometimes they're extremely positive. So I clicked on my video and I went straight to the comments. And, I seen that it was from a young man, if I'm not mistaken. And I read the comment and I automatically clicked on their profile and started following them. Anyone that leaves me anything positive in regard to my journey with addiction, relapse, and recovery, or anything positive, I'm following them. For one, you did not have to take the time out to watch my content. For two, you didn't have to support anything. You just didn't have to support me at all. And, yeah, that's love. So I'm going to show that love in return and pay it forward by following. I don't care what's on their platform. They can be fucking sheep. I don't care. I'm going to follow you because you showed me love. So let me do that in return. Anyway, the person, and I screenshotted, their comment. I'm sorry. I screenshotted that because I'm going to post it on my social media platforms, including Podbean, because I'm proud of the fact that I'm resonating with people. My message is getting out there. People are relating. And, what more could I ask for? I just like the response that I'm getting in return. Anyway, the person said, congratulations. I'm not sure if it was in all caps or not, and I do believe there was a couple of exclamation marks afterwards. And, just one word, congratulations. And that's all I need to keep me going. My family has been congratulating me lately, so I can't say my own family don't do it because they have. I don't even get that from the closest of friends that I have, so for a perfect stranger somewhere in this world to take the time out of their life to watch my YouTube video and to congratulate me in regard to my journey with addiction, relapse, and recovery, that is major for me. And it lets me know that I'm doing my spiritual work, and I love it. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about what happened after Wednesday night's NA meeting. I don't think that I talked to you guys about it before. And if I did, I do apologize. I don't have any notes, and I haven't been taking notes in regard to what I've been, talking to you guys about story wise. But anyway, these meetings are working on me, and I'm working on my own self. I have to give my own self credit because, it's not just all about the meetings or whatever. I have a major part in this as well. Anyway, after the meeting, I depart and go home like everybody else. And I'm on the freeway, and I can get off on Union Hills or I can get off on Bell. Union Hills is a lot more close. That exit is a lot more closer to my house, but I usually get off on Bell because I like to take a dip, which is a ride, in some of the areas where I used to pick up scallywags and, do meth or whatever. I just like to check out my old stomping grounds and see what I'm not missing. Anyway, if I turn right, that would direct me towards my house. If I turn left, it would take me the opposite way. So I decided, excuse me, hold on one second. Let me see if I got something to drink in here. So I decided to turn left, taking me the opposite way from my crib. Anyway, I got caught at the lights by a red light, and I'm the first car, at the stoplight. No other cars are there. And, I'm looking up and down on an intermittent basis because I'm looking for music to play, and I'm making sure that the light don't turn green. And, anyway, cars slowly started to approach, and, still nothing's going on. We're all waiting for the light to turn green, or the arrow to turn green. And I'm looking down, still looking for music, and not the universe, but Satan had me look up at the right moment. And it was like a scene from a movie. This motherfucking fine ass white scallywag either was putting his shirt on or taking it off, was running across the street in a slow to medium pace. I believe trying to get across the street before the light turned or the arrow turned green. But anyway, just flesh. And y'all see how I said flesh. I made sure to say that SH. Flesh. That's all I seen. Flesh and tattoos. He looked almost like an Eminem type of, white dude, like a little, like thuggish white rapper type dude. The epitome of what I would pick up under the influence of methamphetamine. And, I'm looking at this motherfucker like, damn. And he just, slowly, running across the street, doing whatever he doing with his shirt. And he looked like he looked like he just been walking for a while and could use a ride. and he looked like he could use his dick suck, and he looked like he could use some motherfucking drugs. And I had it on the tip of my motherfucking tongue to ask him, hey, you know where the G at? But at this point, there's cars around me, and, I didn't want to, say anything. Like, thank God those cars were right there. Those cars pulled up at the right moment for a reason. Because when I'm working straight like that and using that particular phrase, hey, you know where the G at? I try to be discreet about it because, I don't want nobody in my business. So, I definitely wasn't going to say that while cars were there. Anyway, I had the opportunity to hurry up and make the block and meet them, at the corner because they hadn't made it there yet. They're still jogging along, but they, still hadn't made it to that corner. And I was contemplating, what the fuck do I want to do? The arrow turned green. So I'm turning the corner and, I'm still keeping my eyes on the scallywag, and I'm not yet to that particular, spot where I can turn left and, pretty much make the corner. And I'm still contemplating on what I want to do. And had I turned the corner, I already, had it planned what I was going to say and whatever else. I could have got him. Trust me. I can feel it in my heart of hearts. I could have got that motherfucking scallywag. And I got pissed off at myself because in the gay community, you don't let good, fine dick, especially for a queen, you don't let that slip you by. You get that dick, you work it. And, if you succeed, basically, that's another one in your book. And, to let it slip out of my, to let it slip through my fingers and let it get away when it could have been easily worse and I could have easily had it. I got pissed, but at the same time, I started thinking about how far I've come in regard to my journey with addiction, relapse, and recovery. I've earned 3 chips thus far. It could have been more had I been honest in the beginning when I started the meetings. I could have had 5, not chips, but coins. I could have had about 5 coins by now. I earned what I earned from Recovia, which is like, how can I say it? Not a prize, but, oh my God. Like what I earned at the meetings with the coins, for completing watching a movie in regard to addiction and for pretty much surpassing that level. And I'm proud of that. But anyway, excuse me. Damn, I'm sorry, I lost my brain. Damn, me and this ADHD. But anyway, 12:44, time of the recording. Damn. Oh my God. I'm sorry, you guys. I do apologize. Me and my ADHD. But anyway, I'm just proud of the fact that I just made it this far. Oh, the scallywag. So anyway, I had a little bit of a hiatus before I could have turned left and, made a U-turn and been right at, just been right at that corner at the right time and, spit that game at him. And I, like I said, I thought about, how far I've come. And the fact that I'm going, 13 days clean, you're going to fuck up all of this just to get between the legs of a scallywag and twist the pipe of an oil burner and blow methamphetamine and watch porn and do all. I mean, you want to fuck all this up just for some flesh. And Satan knew exactly what he was doing. He almost got my ass because I was willing to relapse for that dick. And I made the decision to just keep it moving. And I was so mad at myself. I'm just 13:55 time of the recording. I was so mad at myself because I'm like, damn, that could have been a easy piece of motherfucking meat. And I could have, yeah. But after I got further down the street and stuff, I just was like, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. So what I'm going to do on our next meeting, which is Saturday, is tell this story, the same story that I'm telling you guys right now, to group. And I'm going to thank them motherfuckers because if I hadn't had them on my mind, and if I hadn't had group on my mind, and if I hadn't had the coins on my mind, And if I hadn't had, Withdrawal on my mind, and then, these are my barriers that are keeping me from relapsing. And, if I didn't have any of that on my mind, and, I would have fell in the pits, and I would have gave in. 14:55 time of the recording. So I'm glad that I thought about the barriers that I set in place so that I won't relapse, and I didn't. Thank you, Jesus. And anyway, I continued on. I took my ride and, visited those areas that I used to frequent, and, it's the same. People still out getting high, and yeah. And speaking of 1522, I did the same thing tonight. I went and took a dip in the areas where, I would get high and stuff. And I brought a little bit of joy to, some scallywags that were pretty much high. And I was listening to some house music, and, I pulled into where I normally would pull in the square parking lot. We call it the square. Anyway, I pulled into the square's parking lot, which is a bunch of businesses and stuff like that, and people hanging out getting high. And there was a group of, dudes that were, they were just hanging out, and one of them you can tell was pretty much high. You can look at them and tell by their demeanor that motherfucker was high, and he was pretty much jamming to my music. Well, not my music, but the music that I was playing, and he just seemed happy at that particular moment. That there was some good music playing, and I felt like I brought good energy to him. So instead of me leaving the parking lot and going on my way, I parked, and I, played about 2 different house songs, and I looked back, cause my car, the way that I parked, I wasn't facing them head on. The back of my car was facing them, so I would have to, twist my head around to see what they were doing behind me. And on, several of occasions when I looked behind me to see what was going on, I seen them dancing and stuff, and, he was offbeat. He was totally offbeat, but, he was having a good time, and that brought joy to me that I was able to bring joy to this scallywag that, pretty much was fucked up on drugs and whatever the case may be. And, yeah, so I was happy about that. Anyway, I left, and, here I am right now at the park, after I took my little, journey. Anyway, not relapse, but withdrawal. You guys know that I've been dealing with methamphetamine for some years, probably over 12, 13 years. My body has gotten accustomed to this drug, and, even if I did give myself a hiatus from it, I really didn't know the feelings of withdrawal. And if I did go through withdrawal, I quickly fed the cravings, so that I wouldn't have to experience, anything that is associated with withdrawal. But anyway, consider 17:55 time of the recording, considering I'm 13 days clean now, and I'm pretty much not feeding my body what it wants. My body is reacting, and it's not in a good way. And I have been ignorant to the whole fact that, withdrawals is not just associated with heroin, or opioid use and shit like that. It's associated with methamphetamine as well. I didn't think the severity of methamphetamine withdrawal was up there with, opioid use and, heroin use. It's up there, considering when I first went to, Withdrawal, I had further intake to do. And that's when I was going through it, throwing up and stuff like that after taking that, naltrexone. Now, I thought it was the naltrexone 1855 that made me sick. And to a degree, it does play a huge part. But considering what I was told by my psychiatrist colleague, because my psychiatrist is not in until next week. So, their colleague pretty much, answer my questions today, because I called them and I'm like, I don't want to take this medication anymore, because I pretty much blame the medication for making me feel the way that I am feeling. And it's not a good feeling. My third eye is just oh my God, my third eye and crown chakra is going through it, with the headaches. They're not pounding or anything, but they're just those lethargic headaches. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's not it's like if you're on a fucking boat or something and just the feeling of being sick, and I've been sweating profusely, and I'm not sure if that's my body saying that it doesn't want this medication in it or what, but I've been sweating like crazy. My stomach, the pit of my stomach turns, and I feel like I want to vomit type scenario, and I had to, lay my head to the side to get some relief, or I would either have to lie down in its entirety in order to shake the feeling. I'm going through a lot in regard to withdrawal. And, I'm going through a lot in this realm, and I'm going through a lot in the physical realm. I'm going through a lot in the spiritual realm as well. So it's not just all associated with this realm in regard to what I'm going through relapse phase wise. I'm going through it spiritually as well. But anyway, I called my prescriber last week in regard to this medication, naltrexone, and how I'm going to not wean off of it, just completely stop that shit. I know that it can cause issues if you completely stop, but I haven't been on it that long for it to, do any damage to my recollect. So I was just willing to just stop the medication because I don't like this feeling that I'm going through, or these feelings that I'm going through. And, she hadn't got back with me yet. So I'm like, I need to get in contact with somebody because I don't like the way that I'm feeling. So I ended up, calling my primary, got in contact with behavioral health, and, come to find out, she's not in until sometime next week. So they were like, do you want to talk to somebody else? Hell motherfucking yeah, I do. Because I don't like this feeling. I don't like it at all. My body is telling me something and I need to listen to it. Yes, I want to talk to somebody else. So that's when they booked me an appointment with, my prescriber's colleague. Anyway, we had a virtual, 21:55 time of the recording. We had a virtual, and I was lying down at the time because I just felt ill. And I'm telling them all of the symptoms that I've been going through since I started naltrexone. Once again, I'm blaming it on the medication. Naltrexone is not totally innocent. I know that naltrexone has something to do with the way I'm feeling as well, because my body hasn't gotten used to this medication as of yet. Anyway, as I'm telling her how I'm feeling, they went on to say that, they have some concerns because what if it's not the medication? Because I told them, in the beginning when I started with 50 milligrams, I was feeling like shit. But now that I broke the pills in half and I started taking, 25 in the morning, 25 at night, I really don't feel it at night, so I don't go to sleep right away, so sometime I'm up after I take the medication and I don't feel it like I feel it in the morning time. I go through it in the morning time. There's moments where I have to, literally, sit down and lie down or something because I'm sweating. My stomach is twisting and turning and I'm just going through it. So anyway, that's when, they brought up the fact that, this could be withdrawal. And, I'm just like, wow, methamphetamine withdrawal is this, how can I say it? Is this this bad? Really? And she went on to tell me that some people get hospitalized behind this shit. And when she said that, it brought me back to when I went to Ricovia for the first time, and I had taken naltrexone before going. I was still at 50 milligrams at this point, and I just felt sicker than a motherfucker before I got there, and ended up getting sick while I was there on several of occasions. Anyway, it had it had to do with the medication, but it had to do a lot with me going through these withdrawals. And I remember they took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was 159 something, maybe 160 something over whatever number. And that was borderline stroke. And after I finished the medical aspect of it all at Recovia, that was my last appointment, and I could go home. But after getting my blood pressure done and the numbers were that high, they suggested that I go to the hospital or the ER, which is right across from Recovia, and just a walking distance away. And I refused to go. For one, I was at Recovia pretty much for 3 fucking hours or whatever the case may be, and I was tired. I was beyond sick and tired of being sick and tired in regard to me feeling lethargic and whatever. I just wanted to go to the crib and lie down and just shake it off that way. And thank God I made it home. I didn't have a stroke or anything like that. But they were very concerned about those numbers after I got my blood pressure done, and it had me concerned. And I thought it was the pill, which yes, I would say a good 20% of it is the naltrexone. The 80% is me going through withdrawal. Wow. What I need to find out the next time I have group is, especially from the individuals that have a certain length of sobriety, what did they go through when it came time for the withdrawal stage? Because I'm going through it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like these intermittent feelings of needing to get sick and feeling lethargic and having these headaches, and my body is really wanting this motherfucking drug, y'all. It's really wanting this methamphetamine, and it's almost like a war between my mind, body, and spirit fighting against what my fleshly feelings want, and that's this drug. And until I can get past this withdrawal phase, I can't make it to the next phase. And who knows how long withdrawal is going to be. And even the psychiatrist said today on the phone, if you keep continuing to go through withdrawal the way that you're going through it, you may have to be placed in an intake program. I can't afford that. Who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to feed my birds? Who's going to do all of this stuff for me? There's no one out here except me keeping me afloat. I don't have no friends like that in Arizona. And, I can't depend on the people at the meetings and stuff to, do the shit for me while I'm in. I just can't do intake. And if not intake, the ER, they want me to be in the ER or whatever the case may be. So, I don't want to be in no ER either. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with withdrawal, but I guess I'm going to keep it monitored. And if I'm continuing to go through, these, symptoms of withdrawal, and if they continue to get worse, then I just might have to go to the ER and, do what they do with people that have severe withdrawal from methamphetamine. I'm just going to pray upon it, and leave it in source's hands, and the universe's hands, and the spiritual realm's hands, because I don't want to be on any more medication. If I can't rely on the meetings and faith and the power of, the groups and stuff like that, then I have nothing, so I don't want to be on all of these different medications and all of this shit to fight cravings and stuff. I was asked, have I had any cravings since starting the medication? And I will say that I haven't. There are a few things that may trigger me, but aside from that, I really haven't had any cravings to indulge in methamphetamine. So I will say that the medication must be doing its thing. But I can't afford to keep feeling like this, and if it's not the medication, then it's obviously withdrawal. So I guess what we're going to do is keep me on the medication until next week, until my prescriber gets back. and go from there. So what we might do is take me off the medication for a minute, see if I'm going through any symptoms, and if I'm not, I guess place me back on it. And either way it goes, it'll give answers, to what I'm possibly going through. 29:55 time of the recording. But yeah, you guys, it's going to be a rough journey, for a while, in regard to my recovery phase, because I abused methamphetamine for a long time. So my brain has to rewire itself. My body has to rewire itself. And this is what I mean by it's not just this realm. The spiritual realm is also working on me and doing things behind the scenes as well. So I'm going to be a completely different person, once, recovery really kicks in. This is just the beginning phase. I have a lot more to go through in order to make it through recovery. Some people, it takes 2 years, before, they fully recover from, whatever substance that they've been abusing. So this may be a long journey, to completely get this methamphetamine out of my damn system. Anyway, I'm going to end this so I can get home. I'm starting to get a tinge of a headache. Find something to eat, and let that be the reason. But I just wanted to reach out to you guys and let y'all know that all is well. I'm doing good. I'm clean. 13 days now. If 13 or 14, either one, I'm clean. And I'm going to continue to be that way. I just have to get past these. Withdrawal, and it's doing a major job on me. But keep me in your prayers, you guys. We'll get through it. I told my mom about it as well, and they also gave me some words of encouragement, told me that I'll make it through it, and I'll be fine. Anyway, y'all have a good one. My people of addiction, relapse, and recovery, and or the non. Y'all do good. Y'all be good. I'm sorry. And 31:55 time of the recording. Until my next episode. Namaste. I'm going to end this on angelic time, 32:22. We're at 32:07. 32:11. Okay, wait. Oh, not yet. I'm sorry. Lately I've been wanting to end my videos on angelic time. Oh, here we go. Oh, damn.